What?
He's gonna be here on the 21st.
Oh, and you're not.
Second,
Okay.
on Thursday.
Okay.
I figured
Okay.
you needed all
We're
the.
good?
What's that?
Okay.
He said,
Okay, I'll call the meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals of McHenry County to order. This is get my glasses on. This is a request by Lazzarelli Property Management Company. The application number is 2023-038. The PIN number is 19-01-252-018. The address is 6414 Hilly Way in Cary, Illinois. It's, let's see, the location is the 35,167 square foot tract, which is less than an acre.
correct?
Yes. Is located in the northeast corner of Crystal Lake Road and Hilly Way in Algonquin Township. The request is a conditional use permit in the B2 General Business Zoning District to allow for an off-site services business with outdoor storage and 3 variances to reduce the required setback for structures along the western street line. Okay. Oh God, I lost my cheat sheet. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we'll start with introductions of the board members. We're all from different townships, so that we give you a good spread view of our county. And we'll start all the way to the left with Mr. Jers.
Thomas Jers, Coral Township.
Robert Cosin, Algonquin Township.
Charlie Eldridge, Richmond Township.
Vicki Gardner from Nunda Township.
Mary Donner, Greenwood Township.
William Kernick, Grafton Township.
Jessica Beverly, Door Township.
Okay. We have a bunch of stuff to read here. The petition has been reviewed and the following items have been received prior to today's scheduled hearing. The publisher's certificate of publication from a newspaper is dated January 9th, 2024, and thereby meets the ordinance requirements. The affidavit of posting was signed and date posted was January 8th, 2024, and thereby meets the ordinance requirements. The affidavit of mailing was signed and date mailed was January 3rd, 2024, and thereby meets the ordinance requirements. Survey has been checked against the petition, legal notice, and publication in the newspaper, and all 3 match. The filing fees have been paid. The endangered species consultation was not required for this petition. The McHenry County Soil and Water Conservation District report has been received. And for further information, refer to NRI number L23-053-4513. Okay. So I'm going to swear everybody in now, all 2 of you. So please raise your right hand, all 3 of you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this testimony?
I do.
Okay. Thank you. So for the petitioner's sake, I'll explain how we do this. We'll start with the testimony from your lawyer and you, and then the board will have an opportunity to ask questions based on that testimony, and then the staff will also have questions to ask. And there's no public, so we don't have to worry about those people back there. Then we'll have the staff report, and then we'll have board questions to the staff, and then we'll have any public comments, and then we'll ask for a closing statement if there is one. Following that, we will close the hearing portion of the meeting and move on to the voting portion of the meeting. And so we'll proceed. Can you introduce yourself and tell us why you're here?
Sure. Well, thank you. My name is Mark Saladin. I'm an attorney with Zanko and Wright and Saladin in Crystal Lake, representing the petitioner, Lazzarelli Property Management Company, in our request for conditional use and variations for the property that is the subject of the staff report today. I'm going to just jump right in. The property is currently zoned B2. It is already has existing buildings and structures on the property. Surrounding the property, there are some scattered B1 and B2 sites. The majority of it is single-family residential property around it. Although really adjoining the property, there may be one or two residences, and across Hilly Way, there are a couple of other residences. So I'm going to jump in with my client, Angelo Damiano. Could you state your name and address for the record?
Angelo Damiano, where I live, my address, right?
Yeah.
7203 Owl Way in Cary.
And is the petitioner in this matter Lazzarelli Property Management Company?
Yes,
And is that the owner of the property?
yes.
And what position do you hold with the petitioner?
Me and my wife, we're owners. I'm president.
And are you familiar with the property that is the subject of today's petition?
Yes.
And could you tell us a little bit about your company and the company that's going to operate at the property?
LPM is who buys the real estate. The company,
And LPM stands for
Lazzarelli Property Management, thank you, sorry. And Lazzarelli is my roofing company that we do roofs, and you know, we have right now we're off-site with a lot of different locations, and I'm looking forward to having everything in one spot.
And could you tell us a little bit about the property? Could you kind of describe it? There's an aerial photograph that's on the board if you want to, you know, kind of tell us what's on the property currently.
Yeah, there's a white car in the street, and as you walk in there, that the first little blotch there, that's the sign. That's there. That was the existing sign. That's still there. Okay. And then as you drive in, not Hilly Way, the actual parking lot, that's where the beer garden was, and that's gone. But there is there used to be a milk house that was right there. There's just some foundations going up. That's on the far south of the building. The parking lot goes all the way through, like it shows there. You'll see a line straight north of the barn. It's, well, on that picture, it's only this big, but that's a guardrail that is, I think it's kind of covering the septic system. Oh, thank you, yeah. And then there's the discharge of the septic on both sides of those guardrails. Okay, the silo, if we just keep going around, that's a spot where there's a shed a little bit north of the silo, right there. There's a shed there that is enclosed in a fence. And then a little bit south is the silo, which I think Anna said there's only 3 standing in Cary now. So let's keep that up. But anyway, and then back a little bit, going a little bit further south is the door. There's an entry on that side, and then that's it.
And so, Angelo, you've already purchased this property, correct?
Yes.
And just tell us a little bit about the history of the property that you're aware of.
In the months that I've had it, I've looked in separate documents and things like that, and actually have pictures. This barn burned down in 1922, and the barn went in 1922. The barn went all the way north to the yellow line. Since then, it's changed and whatnot, but then it was rebuilt in 22, and then, as you know, the farmers, Knapp and Hudak, the different farmers that were there, and then I think you guys know or might know the feed bag, and then of course Chris's Coach House that was there. But we've got over 150 years of history on this place. It was a lot of fun to look it up and whatnot. I plan to have those pictures that I found, you know, in my lobby in there. I think that would be neat.
And so your request today is a conditional use for off-site services businesses, and that's for your business, correct?
Correct.
And then tell us a little bit about how you intend to use the building and the outside part of the property.
I'm just, oops.
Yeah, so
Well, yeah, so
you're going to have an office?
So you could see the main deal is that fence all the way on the top right there. That's going to be a fence with a true link with valances on it. So it'll be covered. And then,
So that spot that's being identified is going to be an outside storage area?
Correct.
And what will you store there?
shingles.
And will it be screened in any way?
There's valances that go in the true link, how they go up. So you will be able to see through it if you do it, but it's basically a blinder. I think they say it's like 92%. I don't know what I'll have to get I do have that percentage in here, but.
And as far as the actual property line, there's quite a bit of vegetation already in existence on that area.
Yeah, there's a ravine on the right-hand side. And this goes down, I don't know, maybe 40 feet or something. And that's all just woods, so.
So there, in other words, there's a natural screen already to any
Yes.
residential property directly to the east?
Yeah, there's no houses on this.
And there's no houses to the east, correct?
Right.
Okay.
There's one more in the tip, like up more, so I don't want to say there's none, when there is one that's a little bit higher.
Correct. And then as far as the barn building, how are you going to use that?
Where the stables or the restaurants were, that's gonna be my warehouse for nails and staples, things that I can't store outside. And then on the second level is going to be my office.
And the sign that we see in the photograph, is that going to remain in existence with your?
With my,
information?
with my name on it, obviously, yes.
Okay.
But I am using that, the base.
Correct. Now, there's a couple of things that were, just because of the nature of the property, the silo actually encroaches into the side yard setback as well as into the Hilly Way right-of-way. And a part of the barn building is just a tip of it is encroaching into Hilly Way. So have you had conversations with Algonquin Township Highway Commissioner about that?
Yes, I went in there and asked their permission to do renovations on their site, and they were very happy that somebody was doing something with this. And I have a letter and file somewhere, but I have it here, that they agreed to whatever, I wanted to have done there.
So they had no issue with keeping whatever encroachments are there currently in existence at the same
I
spot?
did have to give them a bond for the street, in case I ruin the street. It's very bad right now, and I was kind of laughing about that, but I did have to make sure that I didn't damage the street on that side.
Is there any activity on the subject property that you intend to do that could cause any issues for neighboring property?
No.
You understand that if an ordinance is passed approving your conditional use request, it may be subject to certain conditions. And are you aware that those conditions can be enforced against you?
Yes.
And was this matter reviewed by the McHenry County Staff Plat Review Committee?
I think,
Yes.
Yeah.
So the plat that we see on the screen,
yeah.
that was approved by the Staff Plat Review Committee?
Okay, yes,
And is this property served by a well and septic system?
yes,
And are there any issues relative to those systems?
no,
And you understand that as you renovate this property, you'll need to obtain all the appropriate building permits that might be necessary?
yes,
Do you intend to make any improvements to impervious surface that might require a stormwater management permit?
no,
Okay. And you did receive a copy of the staff report, correct?
yes,
And you saw that staff has recommended 4 conditions to this?
Yes.
And have you reviewed those conditions?
I have,
And are you in agreement with those conditions?
I am, yes.
Would you like the 10-year period to become 20 years?
That would be great, if that's possible.
Okay. All right, so now I've got to ask you some questions regarding the conditional use permit and the standards that have to be met for that.
Okay.
Have you complied with any standards that might be in the UDO relative to the B2 site? Yes.
Say that again. Okay.
Yeah, so have you complied with applicable standards in the zoning ordinance of the county?
Yes. Okay.
And is your request compatible with the existing or planned future development of the area?
Yes.
And will the establishment or operation of your facility in any way cause harm or endanger the public health, safety, comfort, morals, or general welfare of the neighborhood?
No.
Will it be in any way injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property immediately surrounding you?
No.
Do you think it will impair property values in any way?
Impair?
Correct.
No.
And you have adequate utilities that service the building and will service your property, correct?
Yes.
And have measures been taken that will minimize any traffic concerns in the area?
Yes.
And do you think your use is reasonably in the interests of the McHenry County citizens?
Yes.
All right, and then we've talked about the conditional use permit. Now, you've also are asking for 3 variances, really 2 variances. Those being the variance for the building into the side yard setback, obviously the silo, and the signage. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The corner of the building too.
Correct.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yep. All right, and with those variances, we also have to show that there's either a practical difficulty or a hardship, all right, that is associated with those variances. Obviously, you purchased the property in its existing condition. The building's been there for quite a long period of time. Does that show a particular hardship for this property relative to the request for variances? There's a hardship because of that, correct?
Yes.
And that hardship is not applicable to any other properties in the zoning district, correct?
Correct.
And what's the purpose of the variations other than a monetary gain to you?
As far as,
Will it clean up the existing property and grant the proper variances because of the nature of this property?
oh, absolutely, yes.
All right. And the previous owners, whoever built these buildings, created this hardship, correct?
Correct.
And will the variations that you're requesting in any way be detrimental to the neighborhood?
No.
And will it impair an adequate supply of light to neighbors or increase congestion on the public streets because of this?
No.
And does this confer any special privilege on you that's denied to anybody else in this area?
Oh, no.
Okay, I have nothing further.
So we'll have questions from the board, and we'll start with Mr. Jers.
Okay. Mark, the street called Hilly Way with the single-family residence to the west, this was all part of the original farm, is that correct?
Correct, from what Mr. Damiano has found out, the farmhouse was the house
That
that's
was-
shown. Yeah, go ahead.
Right, that was the
The farmhouse in the aerial photo, the house in the aerial photo was the farmhouse, the residence of this barn in question.
Correct.
The street called Hilly Way was
Was never
part
there.
of the farm yard,
Correct.
driveway of the farmyard. And they probably owned all the surrounding land. And you're talking a barn that was built in approximately 1920, so we're looking like 102 years old.
Oh, yeah, it's
So
more than
when,
that.
Hilly Way is, whose road is that?
Algonquin Township.
Algonquin
Now,
Township. And that was probably 2 ruts in the mud when they accepted it.
I have pictures of, there's not even.
Yeah, okay, so this, in my opinion, I guess I'm not allowed an opinion, I'm only allowed to ask questions. The silo that we're talking, encroachment, that's when they used to say the property line goes from over there to over there.
Correct.
Okay, I'm with you on this. Besides that, I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Cozen?
Yes. How long have you been in this business of roofing?
Oh, 82,
So more than 20 years.
more than 40 years.
And where was your previous location?
Right now, I'm at 720 Industrial Drive. It's
What time?
it's in Cary. It's across the street from FedEx, and I have one for my office and one for my warehouse. And I Marshall Lau has the campers and everything, and that's where I keep my trucks. So I'm trying to bring everything together.
Could you expand on that, on what attracted you to this parcel?
I lived in Lake Killarney. I bought my house in '85. And Lake Killarney is, like, if you go down the street, boom, that's the next subdivision. So I knew Chris and Rula personally. And I actually tried to get Rula to do it again and let's do, get something going. That never happened. So when Chris died and
And Chris and Rula were the property owners prior?
Chris and Rula were the property owners. They're the ones before me. After Chris died, then Rula got out and the son didn't do a very good job and then it collapsed. So then they were starting to sell it and I started looking at this back then, but it was, it started at like $750 and that was out of my reach. So I kept waiting, and since then from Lake Killarney, I moved to Foxford Hills and then Northwood Acres, of which all these subdivisions I'm telling you about, I've put the roofs on all of them. So it's the new construction thing. So it is kind of neat as far as that went. But and then there's a realtor in town, a buddy of mine, Bill Versgroves, and he said, this guy's hot, ready to go. And I got it, well, it's public, I got it for it, but I got it for a steal. So I go, it's time now, so.
What type of vehicles will visit the site or be parked on the site? Size or?
Just I have 2 trailers and I have a dump truck and the dump truck will go inside. That's not there, but there used to be just a door like that to go to the beer garden.
Mm-hmm.
And if you saw, I was talking to Anna that it was gonna fall down. And so I said, can I short up? So I put a garage door that literally there's like 3 inches on all sides that this truck could go in. So that truck is gonna stay inside.
Yeah, that work is evident in the distinction between Google Map between 22 and 23 as they now have posted online.
I don't know.
Well, I was wondering what was the purpose of the expansion of the lower door. And then will you be collecting any of your shingles or anything or debris on the site from your jobs?
Collecting?
Well, when you remove the existing shingles, where do they go? Or are they brought here or?
No, Marshall Lau has a dump. It's right down the street. It's, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's Low Escapade.
So there won't be storage of
There's
those?
No, I dump it somewhere else.
So
No.
nothing is stored here?
No.
Debris, collection material?
No.
and the like?
No, you won't even see like empty pallets stacked. Everything will be in the fence and it'll be there. So, anything that, forgive me, to look crappy or anything like that is gonna be inside, you know what I mean? It's, there's some neighbors and I've talked to all of them. And it's almost like it's, I have to make sure that I don't make their life hell, as far as that goes. So yeah, that's all set with that.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you for your candor.
Mr. Eldridge?
Yeah, just a couple of questions to clarify a couple of things. You will, the outside storage area for shingles is fenced all around, is that correct?
Yes.
And are you putting a base under it, concrete or anything? Or will it just be gravel?
No, it's a 3-inch binder and a 2-inch pavement.
So it's an asphalt base?
Yes.
And how much asphalt will you be putting in? Just that area? Or the whole parking area?
Well, I want to do the whole parking lot, but I'm going to wait till I have a little bit more. My goal is to.
All right, at this time, all you're doing
At
is
this time,
under
I'm
the
just going
structure.
where that is now, yes.
Now, you are going to store inside a dump truck and outside 2 trailers. Will there be any other vehicles stored on the site?
I don't have any other vehicles. So, no, just the employees, but as far as stored, no.
Well, do your employees come to this site or just to work sites?
No,
You-
my staff is in the office.
Okay, and that's how many people?
4.
So they drive their cars
Sure.
and work, and so during the business day, their cars will be parked?
Yes.
And you do not anticipate, now, your job site staff basically don't come to the site?
Never.
Okay. Payroll or anything, would they
No,
come?
we click the money over. It's beautiful, to be honest with you. So muddy shoes in the office, things like that, yeah, it's there.
Okay,
So,
so at this point, you'll just have office there.
yeah.
And how big are the trailers?
One's 2 yards and one's 6 yard. Oh, as far as feet?
Yeah,
Just an estimate.
I would say 24 and maybe 18 feet.
okay.
I don't think it's 24, maybe
What do you use to haul
my dump truck.
your dump truck?
Yeah.
And what is the cab in your dump truck? What's the engine size?
It's an F450.
Okay. So this isn't the scale of heavy-duty trailers?
It's just a
or
little bit
oversized
bigger than
equipment or
a
anything?
pickup truck.
Yeah, no,
And
Yeah.
the size of it, we saw that, there was a picture up there before, it actually fits in that door.
yeah,
It's like there's inches, but it works, so.
yes, and is that what are the dimensions of the garage door you have there?
It's 10 foot by 7 foot.
7 foot high
Yeah, I think so.
and 10 foot wide?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's all I've got, thank you.
Steiner?
My questions have already been answered, so I have no questions.
Okay, thanks.
I just have a couple additional questions. The purchase of the property, was that conditioned upon this variance being granted?
Nope,
And the fence is what, 6 feet high that you're
Yes.
proposing? And it's going to be solid, if you will? There's going to be the metal inserts going,
a true link fence, and then they have the plastic things that go through. And I think it's like 92%, they call it, but you could see through it, but you'll just see white.
and shingles, your shingles in there are stored on pallets?
Yes,
And how high are the shingles on the pallets?
like 4 feet,
Okay, less than 6 feet.
yeah.
And what plans do you have to do to the exterior of the building?
The siding is all gone. I tore that off. It was, I wanted to get the barn into a leak-proof thing. It's been, I bought it in August. So we tore off the siding and I wrapped it with some house wrap. And then the bottom, the foundation, there's cracks all over. So I sealed that and I painted it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the veneer cobblestone on the bottom where the foundation is, okay? And then the top, I'm putting some hardy siding. And that's gonna be white and it's gonna be cobblestone on the bottom. It's gonna look really nice, to be honest with you, so I'm looking forward to it.
And the sign that's located over on the, what is that, the southwest corner of the property, is that a lighted sign?
Yes.
What changes, if any, are you going to be making to the sign itself?
The sign right now is fluorescent, and I'm putting a silhouette sign up. So I'm gonna have my letters up, and there's gonna be lights in back of the letters.
Okay,
So,
thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you.
I have no questions.
Okay, I have a few, and then Mr. Eldridge has one more, so you go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to explicitly verify that the variances are only needed because of existing structures. You're doing nothing in terms of new construction that would cause the need for a variance.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, that was it, thank you.
Okay. Do customers come to your site?
what, 1 second?
No, the variances have to do with the silo.
Okay.
You're correct.
I didn't understand the question.
Yes.
So, okay, sorry.
Excuse me if I may, what about the handicap parking? Isn't that out into the right of way?
That is on the side of the silo, kinda. Right there, just below the silo.
Right there, shown just to the right of the Y and Hill.
Yes.
And we discussed with staff, we didn't see a need to ask for a variance for that because the Township Highway Commissioner has approved that location.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, along those lines, the southeast corner of the parcel, is that employee parking?
Southeast.
Lower right,
Lower right, yes,
okay. Now, do customers come to the site?
no,
Okay. So you talked about what's stored, you said there's gonna be shingles in the fenced area.
Right.
And, you said something else too, oh, nails and staples and things inside the barn on the first floor?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, how long have you owned the property?
August.
Since August of 23, okay. And how long was it vacant before that?
10 years.
Oh, 10 years,
Lots of moles, lots of spiders.
yeah. So there's a septic on the site, is there also a well?
No, it's a dry septic.
Okay.
I sent you the,
The health department has reviewed it.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we actually found the guy that designed it.
Oh, what'd you do to him?
Huh?
Nothing.
So,
Let's see, so you have 4 employees that will be coming plus yourself, right?
yes.
And that's all I have, thank you. Anna?
No questions at this time.
Okay. Do you want to give us your staff report? Sure.
For the record, my name is Anna Kurtzman. I am a senior planner here for McHenry County. The property currently is zoned B2, and as has been indicated, has been used for restaurant most recently. There is a B1 property, kitty corner to the southwest of the subject property. Otherwise, everything else around it is currently zoned R1 residential. The area is a little bit of a hodgepodge in terms of uses. That is the technical term, hodgepodge. Okay. There is some commercial, there is a lot of residential, and there's a few vacant properties in the area. The future land use designation for the area is for residential. The comprehensive plan, the future land use map is a portion of the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan text does have supporting language whereby commercial development could be considered in this area. We are acknowledging that there are 3 structures that are currently not conforming to today's standards, that being the silo, the corner of the barn, and the existing sign. And we have no problem if those remain as currently located. We are also offering the 4 conditions for consideration as provided in our staff report.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for staff?
Yes. I
Okay.
do. Thank you. Any comments received from Oakwood Hills or the Village of Cary?
Not from those jurisdictions, no.
And did we receive any comments from adjoining property owners or property owners in the area?
I personally took 1 phone call, another coworker took another phone call, just neighbors inquiring what the purpose of the hearing was about.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, do you have a closing statement?
I do.
Okay.
I have a question for staff.
Oh, okay. Wait, Mark.
I guess it's bullet point number 1 on the 4 conditions,
Yes.
the top item. We're talking a 100-year-old building here, and you got 10 years conditional use. Does the staff see any problem with making it 20 years?
So the time limit is for the use, not for the buildings per se. The buildings have been there obviously for a long time. It's standard to have 10 years just because we want to see an establishment of how well the business gets started in the area. If anything were to happen to the neighborhood that they were upset, we would not be able to address anything until, in this case, the 20-year. So we would prefer to keep it the 10 years, but we do not have any huge issues if it is 20 years.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
I think given Mr. Damiano's testimony, I think he's proven the conditions that are necessary to approve a conditional use permit, as well as to approve the variances. And I think he is going to put a lot of money into this property to make it look nice. It sounds like he's going to be a great neighbor, and I would ask your consideration of a favorable recommendation to the county board.
Okay. We have a full board, so we can go ahead and vote today. Before I close this portion of the meeting, Anna, did I miss anything?
I think you're good.
Okay, we will move on. Okay, so I'll close the testimony portion of the hearing and I'll open the voting portion of the meeting. And we do have conditions. Yes. There's no public comments? There's no public comments. There's no public.
I understand that, but it's
For the
one of your
record.
check marks,
For the record.
Yeah.
for the record.
For the record.
Okay. So we do have 4 conditions suggested by the staff, and I will read those and we'll discuss them. 1, the conditional use shall expire 10 years from the date of approval by the McHenry County Board. Any comments on that?
Comments from staff?
Well, she already explained why the 10 years was given. 2, the conditional use shall substantially conform to the site plan sheet A000 prepared by ALA Architects and Planners Incorporated with the last revision date of November 30th, 2023, stamped received December 4th, 2023 by the Zoning Division. 3, a fence permit for the outdoor storage area shall be submitted to the McHenry County Department of Planning and Development within 6 months of the county board approval of this conditional use permit. And 4, all other federal, state, and local laws shall be met. Are there any other suggested conditions or any discussion on these?
Yes. I would like to see condition number 1 as 20 years instead of 10, because the previous owners, was called Chris's Roadhouse.
Coach House.
Coach House was a restaurant bar, right?
Yes, sir.
Probably had a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock liquor license. Had lots of cars, especially Fridays and Saturday nights. And you've got 4 office employees. So your use is minuscule compared to the number of vehicles that would go in and out of there every evening, every weekend. You're preserving a 100-year-old building, which anytime somebody saves a barn, they get a pat on the back from me. I'm a barn guy.
It's fun.
And for the expense of going through this meeting and paying everybody, and I just don't want to see you having to come back here in 10 years, because probably in 10 years it costs double or triple what it cost you today. So that's my suggestion or recommendation.
Okay, any other discussion on
Well, is he moving?
Was that a motion?
Is that a motion?
To put it in the form of a motion to take the 10 on line 1 and make it a 20.
that? Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Mr. Eldridge?
Yes, I'm going to vote no on this. I sympathize with what Mr. Jers has said, but this neighborhood may or may not develop in the course of the 10 years. The site is relatively small, and if, as he undoubtedly hopes, Mr. Damiano's business grows substantially, the site might be less appropriate for this kind of a use. So I would like the county to be in a position to review it after 10 years rather than 20 years.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
You know, there looks like there are a number of lots that aren't even developed yet. And this is a developing area. All of a sudden it dawned on me where it was and who was there. I think that giving what you plan on doing with the cobblestone and the hardy board and everything is going to be very good and conducive to what's happening, but I don't know if the surrounding areas is going to be as conducive to having that, or if you get too big, which you could only hope, is there'd be someplace else. I think 10 years is the best way to go about it and be able to come back.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I too, because the zoning does not run with the laudable record of the petitioner, but actually runs with the use. And in this particular instance, it is a changing industry. One can certainly find that the establishment of asphalt shingles has certainly changed from its introduction in the turn of the century to what is being expected of that product today. And it may not even be permissible as a lawful product, leaving us with another 10-year vacant process. So this is a way of having an opportunity, especially with going forward, what would be a very laudable record by this applicant. So when we look at this in 2034, and admittedly that sounds science fiction, it will come to us with a very good record.
All right, we'll take a vote on whether or not to change the first condition. We'll start with Mr. Jers.
Aye.
Mr. Cozen.
No.
Mr. Eldridge.
No.
Ms. Donner.
No,
Mr. Koenig.
Yes.
no,
Okay, there's 2 no's, or 2 yeses and a no. That means that.
And you have to vote.
Oh, and then I am voting no on that. So that's 2 and 4. Yeah.
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
There are 7.
There are. Okay. So it
name
will.
dwarfs.
What?
It's a name dwarfs.
No. Okay, so that will stay as 10 years. And is there a motion to
I move
accept the rest?
acceptance of the conditions as presented.
Second.
And we'll go again on the roll. Mr. Jers.
Aye.
Mr. Cozen.
Aye.
Mr. Eldridge.
Aye.
Ms. Donner.
Aye.
Mr. Koenig.
Aye.
And Ms. Beverly.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So that's 7-0 in favor of these 4 conditions. I don't feel that 10 years is a terrible inconvenience for you.
Madam Chairman, I move acceptance of the petition subject to the conditions.
Is there a
Second.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
Oh, it's pretty.
that's I died and went to heaven, you know.
He's not here.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Eldridge and a second.
Jers.
By Ms. Donner.
Okay.
No, Jers.
No,
Oh,
that
Jers?
was
Jers
Joe.
this time. You got in.
Okay.
I wanted to. I'd say yes.
You weren't fast enough, Mary.
I was trying. He can't have them all.
Right. Mr. Eldridge, would you like to comment?
Yes. This is a property that started out as a farm barn, but for quite a while, into the midst of time, has been zoned commercial and was for an extended period of time a restaurant and tavern. It is in an area that is largely but not entirely residential, that is only partially developed at this point, but was subdivided quite some time ago. Let me start with the variances, because to my view, those are a non-issue. Petitioner is not planning on moving anything. He just wants to put in proper fashion stuff that's already there and frankly was there before the road was built. So it couldn't exactly encroach when it was built because there was nothing to encroach on. And it just was an oversight at the time the right-of-way was created for Hilly Way. So to my mind, those should be approved without condition. I think that Mr. Damiano runs an excellent business and that it will work very well on this site. I think it'll improve the looks of it. And as Mr. Juris pointed out, it will have far less impact on the neighbors because it is strictly a business day sort of a business. It doesn't have drunken folks on it into the night as a restaurant sometimes does. I believe that the standards for conditional use have been met. I believe that the standards for variance have been met, and I support the petition.
Thank you. Mr. Jers?
I just reiterate everything Charlie just said. I'm in favor of it.
Okay, Mr. Cozen?
I too am in favor of it, but I'd like to commend the applicant for his research and to point out that that research has been the subject of other pursuits over many years, principally because its history has been scattered hither and yon, including 2 provisions of the historic architectural rural history of McHenry County. I would hope that it finds a repository publicly accessible and well-known, whether it be the McHenry County Historical Society or one of the other ones as well, as you see fit or in the entryway of your business. Secondly, Google Map already publicly demonstrates the improvements that you have made on that property from the last publicly viewable illustration from 2012 to even as present as 2023. So I commend you for that cleanup. But again, I'm voting in favor of this application.
Thank you.
Everybody keeps saying what I was gonna say.
You know what? Next time come first and sit right there.
No, because then I'll have to say something profound.
Profound, yeah.
Which is not what I want to say. But what I do want to say is it's very nice to have a petitioner come, set up, ready to go, knows the answers, has good counsel, who's been around for a long time and understands what it is we need to have. And it didn't have to go any further, and this is a wonderful 45 minutes. Thank you very much, and I will be voting yes.
Mr.
In
Kern?
connection with everything that's been said, ditto.
Okay. Ms. Beverly?
I don't have any comments, I'm in support.
Okay. And I'd like to say too that, yeah, obviously the variations are, no brainer. It was the road that encroached the property, so to speak. So I appreciate all the work that you're planning, all the work that you've done. This sounds to me like a good business for this particular site. I think the neighbors, as you can tell, nobody seems to mind that you're coming. I think the neighbors will be pleased. I think you'll be a good neighbor. And so I'm in favor. And I also appreciate Mr. Saladin reading all the standards, so I didn't have to. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go through the roll. Mr. Juris?
Aye.
Mr. Cozen?
Aye.
Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Yes.
Mr. Koenig?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes as well. So we have a 7-0 vote going to the county board. And that will be in
February.
yes. It will be February for sure.
I will get back to you later today on
Okay.
that, okay?
We'll expedite. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
very much.
I want to live in your barn.
Well,
It's gonna be so nice
he
outside.
asked about if I bought it and knowing I might have to do something. And my wife and I, our game plan is that was gonna be our house.
Oh.
If you guys weren't gonna let us do this.
Oh,
I was
of course.
that-
Yeah, don't say that now. Let's get this over with.
Well, then you have to come before us to get our
48 minutes
residential
for
anyway.
I know.
Actually, when it's done, you're more
Yeah.
more than welcome.
And 10 years isn't that long, and if
Oh.
you do as well in your
So it's still